Recent studies using advanced high-resolution 3D synchrotron imaging confirmed that anatomical structures important for cochlear stimulation extend deeper into the cochlea than some experts previously thought. Stimulating more of the cochlea is important for cochlear implant users because longer electrode arrays are associated with better speech perception, according to the majority of studies on the topic. Synchrotron imaging has also shown that even in the smallest cochlea, the scala tympani can accommodate Med-L flex electrode arrays up to 2 full turns. By covering the entire cochlea and making use of its full potential, our electrodes can also provide more natural hearing by stimulating each tone at the right place in the cochlea. Med-L electrode arrays are the only electrodes that can reach beyond 1.5 turns in the cochlea to stimulate the low frequencies at their natural tonotopic place in the cochlea. This allows Med-L cochlear implant users to hear the deeper bass tones in music. With improved place pitch match and better sound perception, you can give your patients the closest to natural hearing, more natural music enjoyment, and better hearing in everyday life.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us in this, what is a holiday weekend here in Singapore. My name's Donna Sperandio. I'm a teacher of the deaf and a certified auditory verbal therapist. I work for Med-L and spend most of my time supporting the Southeast and North Asia regions. So it's my absolute thrill to say hi to everybody and begin this webinar today. So just before we start, a couple of quick things on the Zoom etiquette. Please, could you keep your microphones muted throughout? That just avoids any background noise or distractions as we go along. If you've got any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box and we'll address the questions that we have time for at the end of the seminar today. For those who are interested in CEU points, please stay tuned till the end of the session and we'll provide you with detailed instructions on how to claim them at the end. So thanks for your cooperation with all of that. Now it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our two distinguished presenters for today, who are from Med-L, Australia. First of all, Rebecca Claridge. Rebecca is a speech pathologist and a certified auditory verbal therapist. She has many years of experience with cochlear implants and auditory rehabilitation. Actually, I think Rebecca saw some of the very first children who received cochlear implants in Australia some years ago.
Yeah.
I won't say how many years ago, Rebecca.
Quite some, yeah.
So Rebecca has been instrumental in advancing the hearing solutions and providing exceptional care to patients across Australia. Our second speaker today is Diana Chan. Diana is a highly respected audiologist and educator. Diana has made significant contributions to the field of audiology, particularly in the areas of hearing implant technology and patient care. Her expertise is widely recognised within our company and certainly within the industry as a whole. So we're absolutely thrilled to have Rebecca and Diana here today. So we look forward to you guys sharing your knowledge and insights with us. So without further ado, Rebecca, I'm going to hand the session over to you. Thanks.
Oh, marvellous. Thanks for that lovely introduction, Donna, and I hope we can live up to your expectations. That was a lot. It's great to be back in Southeast Asia. I do recognise some of the names of participants from when I was in the global position, sharing the load there with you, Donna, in Southeast Asia. Yeah, even though it's virtual, good to be back here. Thank you very much for this invitation to share with you about the Ling Sound Test and mapping implications. So today, Diana and I are going to be talking to you about the Ling Sound Test, a bit of background on what it is and why we use it. Diana's going to talk about the audiology side and the applications there. We're going to revisit how to deliver the Ling Sound Test and interpreting results, and then we're going to look at some case examples. So a bit of revision about the Ling Sound Test, designed by Daniel Ling in the 1970s as a behavioural test to check an individual's access to the sounds of speech. So remembering Daniel Ling in the 1970s, he was working with children who were using hearing aids. They had profound losses, and he was using this test to check what sounds the children could access using their hearing aids and what sounds they could not get all the acoustic information from. And so he used this test to understand whether he needed to add in lip reading or tactile cues to help a child produce this sound. Now, of course, we use this Ling Sound Test very differently. We use it to check that the child's hearing technology is giving them access to all of the sounds of speech. So a quick check of that the technology that the child has is doing its job. We can also use the Ling Sound Test to check a child's distance hearing. So what is the optimal distance that you can be from a child or an adult that their hearing technology is giving them access to all of the acoustic information of these sounds? The Ling Sound Test can be used to contribute to a person's candidacy evaluation for a cochlear implant. So just like Daniel Ling using the test with children with profound loss and using hearing aids, an audiologist can use it, or a clinician can use it to advise, to recommend. Actually using the Ling Sound Test, we can check that the hearing aids are not giving appropriate access to all of the sounds of speech, and this is when we would recommend candidacy evaluation for a cochlear implant. You can use the Ling Sound Test to check for programming improvements. So before and after any programming changes, you can do the Ling Sound Test to demonstrate the effect of programming changes. And we recommend coaching caregivers on using the Ling Sound Test at home. And this helps build their confidence in the hearing technology and reassure families that, yes, the technology is good to go for the day. Over to you, Diana.
Hi. Thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. It's lovely to join you all today from cold but sunny Sydney. Thank you, Donna, for the introduction, and to our colleagues at Medell Southeast Asia for inviting Rebecca and myself and organizing this event. Now, jumping straight to where Rebecca left off, let us look at the difference between a PTA of ROA and Ling test. So as we all know, pure tone audiometry is the main hearing test used to identify hearing threshold levels of an individual. So this helps in determining the degree, type, and configuration of a hearing loss, providing a basis for diagnosis and management. It's a subjective behavioral measurement as it relies on patient responses to pure tone stimuli. So the test uses both air and bone conduction audiometry to measure audibility thresholds and can identify the type of hearing loss via the air-bone gap. However, it is important to note that pure tone audiometry only measures audibility thresholds and not other aspects of hearing, such as sound localization and speech recognition. Whereas the Ling test is based on the detection of phonetic sounds that spans the range of frequencies used in speech, rather than understanding of the English language itself. The 6 sounds used in the Ling Sound Test, e, u, sh, and are chosen because they represent a wide range of speech sounds from low to high frequencies, which are common in many languages. This makes the test versatile and applicable across different languages, as it checks for the child's ability to hear sounds necessary for speech in general and not just for English. Next slide, please. Now, diving deeper into the differences between pure tone versus speech, I'd like to show you a spectrographic analysis of a pure tone versus speech. So on the left side of your screen is a spectrogram of a 2200 Hertz pure tone. The x-axis represents time in seconds, whilst the y-axis represents frequencies. So here you see a 2200 Hertz and the repeated formats at 4,400 Hertz and 6,600 Hertz. There is no other acoustic information, and what is being tested is the ability to hear this discrete auditory experience. The problem is that this does not replicate what we need to do in a real-life listening situation. Now, looking at the right-hand side of the screen is another example of another discrete listening situation, the sound which we might actually have to listen to in a real-life scenario. So this sound, despite being almost 4 seconds shorter than pure tone, carries a lot more auditory information, making detection easier. So in addition, pure tones put some cochlear implant users at a disadvantage owing to the processor's technical parameters. For example, Medel have invested a great deal of research into the internal and external technical design to optimize the user's ability to process speech and not pure tones. So it is important to use a combination of outcome measures, sound field thresholds, Ling Sound Test, and speech perception testing to get a comprehensive understanding of what an individual can hear with their cochlear implants. Next slide, please. Perfect. Now, here in ANZ, we follow a comprehensive approach to the fitting workflow. We offer a battery of tests and tools that can be used at various stages of fitting. So we always start with a device check, looking at the functionality of the external audio processor, internal implant, and usage of device. Now, routinely, we also do a form of objective testing via auto-ART to check for nerve response to stimulation, or if time permits, performing ESRT on a few electrodes along the array as a baseline or guide for overall map profile. Then we proceed with the process of fitting, ideally via a behavioral map to set the electrical dynamic range of the cochlear implant. We have a few other techniques for fitting if a behavioral map is not possible, but for the interest of time and the focus of our webinar today, then we'll just focus on a behavioral map per se. After that, we look at the front end parameters and consider where they are at their CI journey or hearing goals. Looking at validation, it can happen after device configuration, but we also recommend links and basic close-set speech tests right after setting the map levels, just to give us a quick overview of access to sounds right after the map level changes. Now, what I want to highlight in this workflow is the